Hello, Imitator owners. Ted Williams here, Soap Hunting Company. Finally, I think we've gotten rid of that satanic insert that cost crud out of me financially, but also reputation-wise. And you guys have been really good, patient, understanding, and I've done everything I can do to make it right. And finally, we've got an insert that's going to work. I tested it, worked for hours. Didn't even look like it. I was thinking about breaking. Now, eventually, this string will break because that pin that grabs it and pulls it and releases it over time. We'll wear the string, but we're talking about 25, 30, 40, 50 hours. And I just tell people in my tips, you know, look at the string every now and then before you go hunting. If it looks like it's getting frayed and going to break, just grab it under here where it's tied, pull string through, cut it off and retie it so you won't have to restring it through there. Get it while it's still there. Anyway, this video is to show you how to replace that motor plate with the newest bushing in it or insert. Now, I start off, I'll go ahead and cut the strings off. You can do it without cutting the strings off, but it's easier. Just get them out of the way, don't have to mess with them. One string tied on this one, cut it off right at it. The other one's tied right here. Cut it off, pull your string out. And look at how it's tied there. It goes through both these little inserts. You can only see one here and tied right there. That's the light string, the diving string. Okay, I've already done this. Undo these 4 screws. We're going to reuse this top. Last time I sent out new tops, new inserts, but these have the newest, not the newest, but the next to the newest, the recall, original recall inserts in it. They're not a problem cutting a string up here on this piece. It's in the motor plate that's cutting the string, so that's good. Just keep that, reuse it. You'll need your butter knives or something flat, as instructions say, to pull this pulley out. You can probably even use your fingernails. If you got any fingernails at all, I think you can do it. Pay attention to the orientation of this pin holder right here, because mine is out. You can see the pin. I'll show you when you pull this out. So it retracts and releases the string. So there's one spot in here, the flat spot. If the bottom of this pin holder, which travels in that groove, happens to, when you take it out, happens to be in this flat spot, that pin's got to be retracted. Anywhere else in this round part, that pin's got to be extended, sticking out. So like this. If it's just in that flat spot, it had to be pulled in. So pay attention to where it is. The pulley will only go back on one way because of the flat spot is there on that bushing and the flat spot on the shaft. Set it to the side. I've only got 1 screw in here for time's sake, but undo the 4 screws here. There should be a little Allen wrench, 2mm Allen wrench with your top. Go ahead and undo them. When you do all 4 of them, undo all 4 of them, the motor will drop down in the box. It should. I put a little pressure kind of sideways so I can pull that screw out of there with it. Undo your clips. Turn it just like that upside down. And you've got this gasket. We're going to have to reuse that gasket too, because I would have put them in a new place. I just didn't have enough extra to get this thing done and out as fast as we needed to. So run something flat, your butter knife, this little screwdriver, something down along the side of that gasket, between the lid there and that gasket, or on the edge, just so you can get down there and get under it, and then pry it up. Don't use anything sharp so you won't cut the gasket, because it cuts pretty easy. We'll try to get under it and, well, easier said than done, huh? There. Pull it out. I'm going to reuse this because this is one of the good ones. Just put it back in the groove of your new one. Get rid of the other one, the old one, of course. Now try to get this gasket kind of evenly dispersed as far as stretch on it, just so it's kind of, you know, not tight in one end and loose in another. Make sure it doesn't get twisted when you put it in there. It's kind of easy to do. Once you get it kind of lined up. There we go. It had a little twist in it, but I got it out. Then just take your finger. Your finger's not going to cut it. Fingernail, something. Kind of push it down in there as far as you can get it with your finger. And that'll be far enough. You put it on the box, it'll get squished the rest of the way in there. If you can get it about even with the edge there. That's all you have to do. So there we go, it's good. I didn't say this, to start off with the toggle switch on the right with the unit kind of long away from you. And like I say, toggle in this tab to your right. Now you're ready for the motor. To get the motor loose, undo the Phillips screw. There's your motor wire, hooks to the top screw of that toggle switch. And undo your ground wire from the battery. It's easier if you just go ahead and undo them instead of trying to do it with it hooked up. It's certainly easy to hook them back up. I take my motor in my left hand, face these two wires that are strapped around right here on the motor, face them at you. And then this little tab that the string goes through here, it's a second decoy string. It goes through here and ties on the bottom of the box. Face that the same place when you put it on the motor shaft. Line it up with those wires. Then if you'll turn counterclockwise, you'll kind of feel it drop down. It gets caught, a little section there. You can go back and forth a little bit. That's correct. Now stop it about in the middle of that space right there, just to guesstimate. You don't have to be right on it. Put your 4 screws back in, and I'm only going to do 1 for time's sake. When you get your screws in there, kind of give it a little jiggle like that, and those screws will just kind of fall right in those holes. Then you can take your Allen wrench and tighten up the screw, and I would jump from one side to the opposite side, get a good pull on both sides of the motor, and then go to either one of the other ones. I'm only doing 1 screw for time's sake. But it face back down with that tab again facing the box, and go back putting the wire back on. It's really very simple. If you've ever done one of them, you can do them, because I've done thousands. Ground wire on the ground post of this battery, closest to you, if you got it sitting right. Turn it on just a second, working good. Put the top back on, make sure there's no wires caught between this motor plate and this edge right here, because that's a water leak for sure. And by the way, the other night testing one of these prototypes, I forgot to put that gasket in that seals the motor plate to the box. Filled up with water completely, of course, should. But I poured the water out, put it back together, it worked fine, and I didn't know why it leaked so bad. I thought maybe I had accidentally clipped one of these up with the string. Sometimes the string will catch one of them, setting it down. I didn't notice this gas, did it again, and turned it upside down, no gasket in it, full of water. Sprayed a little WD-40 in the motor. Of course, WD means water displacement, right? So it'll help get that water out of there. Took some WD-40, put it in the bottom of the motor, let it sit a minute, turn it back up, get some water out. It's been fine, didn't hurt it. So it's pretty amazing. If it does fill up with water, it's not a huge deal. Go back with your pulley again. You'll have to line that flat spot up with the flat shot on the shaft, flat spot on the shaft. And then my pin needs to be out because it's going to fall in the round section of that groove. Falls right in there. And then when you put this top back on, in fact, we're going to go ahead and turn it on, let that thing go around a couple times and watch that pin, make sure it's going in and out like it's supposed to. Just doing that, it's fine. And make sure you don't stop the pin when you turn the motor off on top of that insert the string goes through. It'll block the string from going through in a minute. So you can either put the top back on now, and you got to line that insert up with that insert that's here. The string goes through both of them. Whatever reason, I had a little trouble a minute ago putting this string through. You can line them up. String, this is kind of an older string, so maybe that's part of it. It has a little memory in it, and just got to go straight down through there. And I don't know why it doesn't want to do that. Didn't want to do it a while ago. There it is. Well, it came out through the bottom and actually goes through that hole on that tab. Forgot, I use a little hemostat. You use a needle nose or something to pull it out under. There's not much room there to pull it out under that tab so you can tie it onto it. I tie a knot in the end of the string so my slip knot won't slip. Past that, you have to tie a slip knot, which I don't know if you know how to do that. I hope you do. And then it just slides down right on it. That's your string. I didn't tighten these Phillips screws up. Probably should do that. Trying to save time. And then you got it. So that's how you replace it. Pretty simple once you've done it once. And if you got any questions, I'm serious, guys. When I say call me anytime in my letter, I mean it. If you're out in the blind at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're forgetting how to do something, call me. I don't care. Wake me up. I really want it to be one of the best things you've ever bought, and I don't mind you waking me up day, night, whatever, because I want it right for you. So appreciate all y'all's patience in dealing with this stinking insert I had to deal with, but I think we got it. So good luck this year. I'm fixing to start getting all these things out tomorrow.